Good morning and good evening and good afternoon. Well, it's another show on Sports, Music and Live podcast. Today I'm going to go through the Chris Eubank and Conor Benn rematch at the Tottenham Hotspur's ground. And as usual, I'll go through the undercard and give you my thoughts. Normally I go round by round, but you'll find in some fights today that I stopped writing because it was a bit samey. There's no point me repeating myself and boring you lot, because that's what I'm not aiming to do. So before I get started, so give us your comments and what you thought of the fight. If I forget to say that at the end, I think I'll get that in now. I did do a prediction podcast for those who watched. If not, it is on the channel, and I did call it right. And Conor Benn did do what I thought he was going to do this time, how I thought he was going to win the fight too. But we'll get into that later on, because there was a cracking fight to start it off with. Really impressive fight. For me, the fights of the night was the first two fights, and the first fight was Mikey Talon versus Shahid. And I tell you what, Shahid deserved a lot of credit in this fight. He put on a good fight, and his record, as even the commentators are saying, his record's better than what it showed, and you could really see that. And he really come to game, and he gave the up and coming rising star Talon a good go. Excuse me. So Talon comes out getting behind so round one, Talon comes out, gets behind the jab. Shahid starting the fight with the aggressor. Talon not long into the round now starts to throw combinations and 1-2s. A little trade-off for both fighters at one point, and going to the body. Shahid looked like he was a little bit hurt from a body shot. Good opening first round. So Shahid was being competitive in these rounds. He was up for it. He wasn't there just for a payday. I thought he put on a really good show. He gave Talon a very good fight, and as you hear many over the times that these journeymen, I wouldn't say he's a journeyman, I'd say he's a bit better than a journeyman, if not better than a journeyman. I was really impressed with Shahid. He just come up against a very good boxer on the night. Round two, a lovely lively start from the round. Both fighters putting their foot down, looking to land the shots, having a toe to toe at times. Talon is winning the rounds, but Shahid is having success. It's not a one-sided fight. Shahid is giving Talon a good fight. So yes, it wasn't so much as a one-sided fight. Yes, Talon was winning these rounds, but Shahid was in these rounds, and it was very, very good, good competitive fight. A really good fight for the opening too, because normally it'd be an up-and-coming star or an up-and-coming boxer, and normally they're blowing his journeymen away. So it was a lovely opening first fight. And right, so we're going into round three. Talon is the better boxer. He has the better boxing ability, but Shahid isn't out of his depth. At times he is in the fight just getting a bit outclassed. So he was getting a bit outclassed. Excuse me, he was getting a bit outclassed, and and the better boxer and the boxing ability was with Talon, and that was clear to see. But like I keep saying, Shahid did give it a good go. I did actually give him one round. Very good start, going into round four now. Very good start to the round for Shahid, being the aggressor again, landing the lovely shots to the body and head, returning the favour with the body shots to Talon, using the jab well again. First round to Shahid, so that was the round I gave to Shahid. Excuse me about that. That was the first round I gave that to Shahid. So right, going into round five now. Talon comes out, steps it up, being more the aggressor, now looking like he is going to try and get Shahid out of there. And then Shahid does go down. And I think it was a body shot. I wasn't quite sure because it happened so quick. It was one of them inside shots, and it was a beautiful shot. But then watching on the replay through my notes, I put them in notes, it was the uppercut that finished him, and it was a cracking shot on that chin, and Shahid couldn't get up for it. And And what a cracking first fight that was to open the fight. Now, again, these two was in competition for me, which was the best fight. And the fight two was Sam Giddy versus Ishmael Davis. Now, I said on my predictions I wasn't sure if I'd seen Sam Giddy fight. Normally when I see him in face, I tend to recognise him. And I did recognise Sam Giddy, have seen him. It was at super welterweight. It was for the Commonwealth and British fight. Davis has lost and he's been in there with some good fighters too. I thought he won. If I remember rightly, I think he won. I think it was a Belfast show he was on, and I felt he won that fight. Can't really remember without going back to listen to the podcast I've done in that. But he's been in there. He's been here with Josh Kelly, and Josh Kelly is a very good fighter, a very good boxer. And Sam Giddy was the Commonwealth champion. He had one loss and one draw, so going into it. So let's get into this then. Round one, more action. Oh, sorry, that was reading round two. So round one, first minute of the round, both getting behind the jab and staying out of range, just out of range. A cagey first round, some shots to the body, some from shots from each other fight. For some body shots from each of the fighters, that was meant to be, and it was more like one of them working out rounds, but tough one to call. But that one was really tough to call. The first two rounds are very tight, very hard to call. So going into round two now, so this is where the more action started to come into play. They had their little working out round and see where the angles and the shots and what they can get off. Both fighters let him all go this time. They are close rounds, and both fighters threw more variety of punches in that round. So another really tight round to call. But this is where Sam Giddy takes control of the fight now. So round three, good start to the round from Giddy. Giddy being the hunter, planting his feet when he gets close to Davis. Davis being on the back foot, allowing Giddy to come in and catch him at times. First clear winning round for Giddy. First, I'm sorry about that. Got a bit of lump in my throat. And a very, but still very close round. But Sam Giddy was the winner of that round, the first clear round that he won, which I think comes back to bite him when he's putting him on. So he goes and wins a few rounds in a row now, Sam Giddy. So Giddy is the taller, has a longer range than Davis. Giddy was the one on the front foot, so if he kept it, he could have boxed it at a range too, that he had that much of a good range on him, really long arms on him. But he wanted to be the aggressor, and Giddy was starting to win this fight. Davis is having success getting to landing some shots, but himself. But Sam Giddy was certainly taking control of this fight now, and we're going into round five. For the taller fighter that could keep it at range, Giddy is fighting up close and on the front foot. Another round to Giddy for me, as he has landed more shots than Davis, and Giddy really digging into the body. Yeah, Giddy was really getting into that body, trying to slow Davis down, because Davis does have a great engine and he does come on later on in the fights. For those who haven't seen him, go back over and watch some of his fights if you ever get time. He's in there for 12 rounds and his fitness is out of this world. One of the fittest fighters on the British scene at the moment, you've got to say. So we're going to go into round 6 now. Davis comes out in the... excuse me, I've just got to read that. Davis is coming out on the front foot himself now, landing some lovely big shots. Giddy comes back with uppercuts and hooks. Best start to the round so far of the fight. Giddy with a cut. I think I got that wrong. I was listening to the commentary on that. I don't know if it was damaged eye or cut eye. I think it's a bit later on his eye got cut, but he had a bit of damage to the eye. And that was the first round Davis won. Now this is where Davis comes into the fight now. He was really they both had successes in rounds of the fight. In rounds, I mean. Right, round 7. Giddy looking like a fighter. So he's starting to look like he was tiring at this point in round 7. He put a lot into them early rounds, and this is where I thought this is where it's going to come back to bite him. Davis is getting on the front foot and looking the stronger fighter now. Gilly on the back foot. So Gilly's starting to fight on the back foot now. This is where I think he could have won the fight a bit better if he allowed Davis to come forward, because Davis, in previous fights, I see he is capable of coming forward. And he's a switch hitter too, so he switches his stances. And that's always a tough one to deal with, because it's a constant mind game. It's a bit like Usyk, isn't it, really? Gilly on the back foot now, and the fighter missing shots. Another round to Davis. So yeah, Gilly was starting to miss his shots, whereas before he was the one that was landing them and Davis was missing the shots. Turning around. Round 8, Davis starting to be the fighter in control of the fight now. Nice lead uppercut from Gilly. The energy levels is with Davis. Gilly may have put too much into the earlier rounds, like I said before. So now we're going to go into round 9. Lovely shots from both fighters. Davis now the fighter on the front foot and starting to be the more aggressor. Big shots from Davis to the head and body. Took them shots well. Gilly at the end of the round returns the favour. Davis round again. 4 rounds in a row for him. Right, so going into round 10 now, and let's see where it changes now. Best round in a while for Gilly, catching Davis as he comes in, boxing on the back foot for a while. Gilly and Davis being on the front foot since Gilly went on the back foot. That allowed Davis to take control of the fight. But that was a Gilly round, first round on the back foot. So yes, now Gilly's starting to win it on the back foot and catch Davis as he was coming in. And this is where I felt we could have won the fight, because like I said before earlier on, he had the range. Right, so we're going into round 11. Gilly now finishing the fight, the stronger fighter, winning the last 2 rounds, landing lovely uppercuts to the body and head. I think Gilly is winning the fight from the earlier rounds. Could go either way. Davis, I think, needs to win the last round to either draw or win the fight. So it was so tight you could have scored it anyway. And the reason I said that is because them first 2 rounds I just didn't know where to score it, really, and whose round that could have been, because they're that close. Could say Gilly took control from the second. And for those who don't know the result, I'm going to give the result now. So obviously Davis obviously went on to win the fight, so obviously the judges favoured what Davis was doing. But anyway, going into round 12, Gilly started the better fighter and is finishing the better fighter. He has won the last 3 rounds. Gilly goes down and it's called a slip. I think Gilly has won this fight. But Davis got the fight. I felt Gilly won that fight because he done a lot more in the earlier rounds and finished. So he done well in the earlier rounds and he finished the stronger fighter. Although Davis was still in the fight, but I just felt Gilly started boxing it at range and started to win them rounds. So we're going into fight 3. Rick Pora versus Tommy Welch. Rick Pora, I thought it was going to be his first fight, but it's not. It's his second fight at heavyweight. I tell you what, it'd be an interesting fight. It'd be Rick Pora versus Lawrence Okoli. That could be an interesting one. Both powerful punchers, but we'll see what happens in the future for that. And that was against Tommy Welch. Tommy Welch from Brighton and unbeaten. Rick Pora only losing to Chris Billam-Smith. And that was in their rematch that they had. Rick Pora won the first one, Billam-Smith, but he lost the second one, and that one was for the world title, so he decided to go to heavyweight now. So let's get into this. Round 1, Welch comes out, straight out, firing big shots. The round slowed up after the fast start from Welch. Rick Pora having a cagey round, might be having a look at... Yes, it was cagey round, he wasn't throwing much, he was seeing what Tommy Welch had there, and Tommy Welch was landing some big shots, Fisher shots, body and head, you know, and so we're going to go into round 2. Welch comes out firing again, goes to the body, again he was going to the body, like I say. Rick Pora throwing an overhand shot, misses with the first and lands with the second, down goes Welch. Welch was holding on after that, and to get his senses back. Rick Pora lands another lovely big shot, down goes Welch, and down a third time, and the ref calls it off after that. So you could say Rick Paul was having a look to see what Tommy Welch had, took everything he had, and he went to throw the overhand, just missed it, and then bang, lands another one. It's a bit like I was always told, when you throw the double jab, if you sort of miss the first one, you got your second one to fit it in. The jab is such an important shot, but there was no jab in that. It was an overhand. He just missed, and he stepped in, and he threw the other hand, and down went Welch, and then the rest is history because he went on to stop him. So fight 4 now. Azim versus Kurt Scooby. Now this Kurt Scooby, he's a typical American. He comes in, he gives it all the big and he pumps himself up like he's the greatest thing. He's going to do this and that, and he done nothing in that fight. He done nothing. Azim boxed his head off, completely boxed his head off, and he looked like a lost soul, and he's nothing but a whinger whenever he got the body shots. But we'll get into this with the notes now, and I believe I did stop writing. This is the first fight I started to stop writing notes because it was pretty pointless because it was the same thing. Azim, he brings power and speed, and so did Scooby, but Scooby just didn't land anything on him. So Scooby started the fight. He was covering up. Azim getting behind a stiff jab, looking for the body shots. Nice 1-2 from Azim, straight down the middle. So there, he's very cagey. I think it's for 3 rounds. We'll go through the notes and we'll see. So we're going to go into rounds 2. Much the same from Azim, getting behind the stiff jab. Scooby still the same, covering up into the last minute. Scooby looks to hold on and could have been hurt. A lovely uppercut screw shot from Azim to finish the round. Corner asking Scooby to step it up. So so the corner said, like, you've got to step it up now. Scooby wakes up, lands the first punch of the fight. Now Scooby is letting his hands go. Scooby doesn't like the body shots. He kept whinging it was low. Weren't low, mate. You're getting a decent body shot. I thought you was this tough American lad that you're coming over and you're going to knock him out. Well, I'm afraid so. You got schooled in that fight, mate. And right, so sorry, get back to the notes. He doesn't like the body shots. Twice looked at the ref, and when a body shot has landed, Azim back behind the jab and Scooby back to covering up. Azim looking for the uppercut now. Round 4, Scooby getting some venom behind the shots now. Azim boxing it well at range. Scooby being a more experienced fighter. So Scooby had more fights than Azim. But you wouldn't have thought it the way he just went into his shell. There's no other 2 ways to talk about it. Azim makes Scooby miss a lot and has won all 4 rounds. I think he won every round, if I'm honest, yeah. So round 5, much the same. Azim making Scooby miss. Azim working well behind the jab and going to the body, landing lovely uppercuts. Round 6, Scooby wild and getting very frustrated with that, and it makes it easy for Azim to make Scooby miss. So it was getting really hard to write notes because, like I say, it was the same pattern all the way through the fight. Scooby wasn't missing; he was covering up. Scooby loses a point. The ref had given him enough warnings. It had been much the same. Azim has won every round. At times, Scooby did land shots, but most of the time, Azim made him miss. So after round 7, I give up writing notes, and I just wrote up the finishing touches to the notes. Azim was in full control of the fight throughout, considering how gobby Scooby was, like I said before, and was saying what he was going to do. Azim boxed his head off with ease, kept it at range. Round 11, Azim really hurt Scooby. After a big shot, Scooby walked back to the corner with stiff legs, looking hurt. It's been a one-sided fight from Azim, won all the rounds. Scooby was a tough lad, but was outclassed and hurt again in the 12th round. Scooby goes down for the first time. He was tough, I'll give him that. He was tough. He took some good shots. No, where credit is due, he took some good shots, but he was outclassed, completely outboxed and outclassed, and the ref ends up waving it off. Now we're going to go into fight 5. And we have got Jack Catterall versus Esiman. I'll have to get that pronounced right. Esiman. very controversial finish to this fight. But we'll say, very impressed how Jack Catterall started his fight, because I said in the build-up he can start slow and he can sit there and wait. But he actually come out and he got a fast start. But that could have, sort of halted him a bit later on in the fight. So round one. Fast start from both fighters. Catterall getting behind the jab, keeping it range. Nice to see Catterall making a fast start, like I said. So yeah, Catterall's getting behind the jab, lovely, throwing some lovely shots in. And it was nice to see him put his foot down and get to business straight away, because like I said, he's a very slow starter, Jack Catterall, and I think he can sit there and wait too long, and that cost him in his last fight super lightweight before he went to welterweight. So here we go, round two. Eziman fighting with a fast pace, out of range, but that is no surprise with Catterall's defensive skills. He's a very, very good defensive skill fighter, Jack Catterall. He's a counter puncher and he's very good at it. But keeping out of range and still working off the jab. Jack 2 up at this point. Round 3, Eziman still trying to get Catterall, not much landing, but this fight is being fought at a high pace. Jack Catterall was winning these rounds. Catterall landing most of the shots. Eziman struggling to land. He was really struggling to get sank onto Jack. But Eziman's got a great engine. Another lad with a great engine, and comes back later in the fight. So, round 5. Jack onto him after the... round 4. Eziman coming at Jack Catterall and walking onto a lot of shots. Down goes Eziman with a lovely hook, floored with a lovely uppercut. That was timed beautifully. That uppercut, absolutely beautifully timed, and down goes Eziman in that round. So we're going into round 5. Jack onto him after that knockdown. Catterall being the hunting now. Another lovely uppercut from Jack. Eziman still can't get to Jack Catterall. The nose is well busted up and split on the bridge of the nose from round 4. So you got the bridge of the nose is there. It was split. So we're going to go into round 6. Start of the round, Eziman gets to Catterall. Eziman back to being the hunter, but for all the fight, Catterall has picked Eziman off. Eziman looking quite busted up now. Catterall going into round 7, so there's a lot of the same. As you can tell by the notes are short. There's not a lot I can tell for those who watched the fight. Catterall was picking Eziman off as he come in, I did see Jack Catterall tiring and Eziman coming into the fight at one point. So we're going to round 7 because I wrote something nice down here. Catterall's speed and accuracy is too much for Eziman. Catterall right eye gets cut. Right, sorry, can't understand that, Mo. Right, Eziman right eye of Eziman looks cut. It looks like it's closed. Yeah. So the right eye of Eziman's eye was really closing, and he was still carrying forward to him, giving him his due. First round to Eziman though, best round of the fight so far. So even though his eye was closed in round 7, that was the first round I gave him, and it was looking like a one-sided fight. Catterall starting to look tired a bit. This is where the pressure and consistent hunting from Eziman could turn it around. Another round for Eziman. Round 9, Jack back to being on top, boxing back at range, poking the jab, out. Wobbles Eziman, still looking very tired. Catterall, Eziman, who has a good engine, looking the fresher. So Jack was looking tired, but he's still picking off Eziman. Now Catterall is slowing down and getting tired. Eziman is getting to him a lot more now. So round 11, this is where it was very controversy. And going back over the notes, yes, Jack was winning that fight very clearly for me. But round 11, Eziman slips. Catterall lands a big shot, goes down heavy. So as he slipped, he got up. I think, if I remember right, it was a shot, but he slipped. He got up, and Jack lands a big shot. A big shot, goes down heavy. This was bad. It wasn't done on purpose, but that surely has to be the downfall to the knockout win. So yeah, so Esmond goes down. I think he slips and he gets up, but I think he got hurt from a shot before he went down, and he gets up. And Jack lands a big punch. The ref should have given Esmond longer. Esmond was not. Yeah, so it wasn't so much of a slip, but it was a knockdown or the shot, or he slipped. He was hurt after that shot. And the ref should have given Esmond longer. Esmond was knocked out the ring and out. Could well be a rematch. Fair play to Jack. He didn't celebrate. Very good fight, but Jack Catterall was winning. Not sure he would bother with the rematch. So the only reason I say the rematch is because of how it's finished, and Esmond was starting to get into the fight and take control. But going back through them notes, it's very clear that I had Jack Catterall winning that fight, and why would he bother going on to fight have a rematch? So let's get into the main fight. Eubank versus Benn. Eubank walks out surprisingly with 50 Cent, one of the greatest rappers ever. For those who listen to the rap podcast that I've done with Paul will know I'm a big fan of 50, and obviously Chris Eubank too. So let's get into it then. And this fight went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Good start from Conor, more reserved and more disciplined, and not rushing and throwing heavy shots straight away, going to the body too. Some wild shots at times, but Chris did have little success. He looked very, very drained for the first time ever, Chris Eubank, at this weight, and he's been boiling down to this weight for a while. So he has gone up to super middleweight. He got beat by George Graves in the Super 6 and he come down. Eubank starts the round good. This is round 2, sorry. Eubank starts the round good, landing nice jabs. His jab was nice. Conor starts to come into the round again and takes control. Body shots with lovely jabs. Eubank looking a bit marked up. So round 2, Eubank was starting to really look marked up already. So round 3, Conor Benn jabbing well but throwing wild at times. Eubank catching Conor with a lovely shot as he comes in. 3 rounds to Conor. Eubank looking like he's seeing what Conor's got, going to come into the fight later. So going by the first fight, I thought Eubank was sitting there reserving his energy, but for those who've seen the fight, it didn't plan out like that. So round 4, Conor still in control of the fight. 4 up now. Eubank at times is sitting there waiting for Conor to dive in and land a big uppercut. He was waiting for the uppercut and he was missing a hell of a lot with it. Round 5, nice double jab from Eubank. The fight was much the same. Conor boxing well, more disciplined and not trying to take Chris's head off. So I stopped writing notes at this point because it was very the same fight. Conor was out boxing him and boxed his head off, and boxed the most disciplined I've ever seen him ever box, and that deserves a lot of credit for Conor because he goes in there and he tries to take your head off, doesn't he? So I stopped writing notes at this point. Eubank did have little success in the rounds. In the rounds, he looked drained and looked like he had no power, just never got into the fight. Eubank could not handle the speed or the movement of Conor, which I said before. This is where Conor wins his fight, and this is where he would. I felt he won the first fight, but he certainly would have won it a lot more if he'd done it like this in the first fight, because Chris couldn't live with his bobbing and weaving and ducking and diving, just like his dad did. And the speed of the movement of Conor, Chris just couldn't handle that in the first fight, and he couldn't handle it in this fight. He couldn't get near him. He looked a lot more drained in this fight. It really took a lot out of him in the camp. And Chris also, I think that's why he made the fight Conor wait longer for the fight. I can't think of the word I'm trying to say. Because he needed that time to drain the weight, because I think, like I said before, it was meant to be in September, but it wasn't. Like I said, Conor boxed the smartest and the best I've ever seen him fight. He won every round, and he nearly got a stoppage in round 12 too. If he had more time, he would have stopped Eubank in that fight. And I've also like to say, I was meant to say it on the last podcast, this could be the last big fight Ben Shalom is involved with. He hasn't got a back in the sky anymore. He's been a pain. Well, I don't know if he's been a pain so much, but I'm not a fan of Ben Shalom. I think he's very lucky to be in the position he had. All right, so was Eddie with his dad, but Eddie built that boxing match room bigger than what his dad did. So I think this could be the last big fight Ben Shalom is in. He's going to BBC. I'm all for it. It'd be nice to see BBC, but I can't see BBC putting on the big fights. And where does Chris Eubank go after this too? Because after what he said about every promoter, who's going to want to work with him now? Not unless he works with the American promoters. So I think, but I will say this too. It's certainly sure Chris is done at middleweight now. And that fight proved it all because he looked absolutely drained in that fight. So he's got to go up to super middleweight. Whether he goes on to get a world title or not, one, because obviously he's got Crawford's trainers and Crawford holds all the super middleweight belts. Does it go up to light heavyweight? I mean, when he went up to middleweight the first time, he was short and small for that weight. It didn't quite work out for him, whether that was too early or not. But where Chris goes after this, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's done. He isn't done in boxing. He's still got a bit more to give. Whether he's going to be a world champion or not, I don't know. But he certainly is done at middleweight. He can't keep putting himself through that. Like I say, that was the first time, and he's been doing that weight for a long time. So you can't say, oh, it's the weight why Conor beat him, because Conor didn't. Conor boxed the best I've ever seen him box, well disciplined, and he put on a great show. And there's talk that Conor is going to go on to have a world title shot at welterweight, and we will see, and hopefully he will go and become a world champion. And so that's that coming to an end. First one I've done in a while where I've been able to do all the fights. A good night of boxing. The fights were good. They were watchable. So a great show from Eddie Hearn, and it has to be said, Ben Shalom, because he was involved with it. And then, just remember, there was an announcement. There's a hint that AJ could be fighting Fury, but we'll have to wait and see for that. It's either that, or I think AJ could be fighting Daniel Dubois again. We will see. But anyway, thank you for listening to another show on the Sports Music and Life podcast. And I'll be bringing you another show soon. So yeah, thank you. Please like and subscribe and get the show out there, like and share and all that we're just to get the channel up and growing. So yeah, thank you for listening once again, and give us a comment and see what you thought about the fight and the night's boxing. Yeah, thank you for listening.